Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be diving into some major updates that Plex just announced. If you're a Plex user, you'll want to pay close attention because these changes will affect both free and Plex Pass subscribers. So let's break it all down. Today, Plex just announced three big changes coming by the end of April 2025. The first is a Plex Pass price increase. This will be the first in over 10 years, apparently. Second is remote streaming is now becoming a paid feature, if you can believe that. And third is the end of mobile app activation fees. So let's dig into each of these changes to see how they might affect you and what options you're going to have moving forward. Besides switching to Jellyfin, of course. So first up, Plex Pass is getting its first price increase in over a decade. Starting April 29th, 2025, the new prices will be monthly $6.99 a month in US dollars, up from $5. The yearly price will now be $70, up from $40. And the lifetime pass is more than doubling from $120 up to $250 for a lifetime pass. Presumably they'll still offer the Black Friday sales where they kind of discount it back down to $120, but your mileage may vary. So if you've been on the fence about getting a Plex lifetime pass, now is definitely a good time to do it. You can still lock in the current $120 price if you purchase before April the 29th. For existing subscribers, your monthly or yearly subscriptions will automatically move to the new pricing structure after renewal on April the 29th. However, if you already have a lifetime Plex pass, you're completely unaffected by this change. In fact, I think I purchased my Plex pass for $75 about 10 years ago. So, I mean, to some degree, I kind of understand where Plex are coming from. Like, lifetime pass is not recurring revenue, and you can't pay salaries on one $75 transaction 10 years ago. I kind of understand, but at the same time, everything's getting more expensive. So it's just an unwelcome change in a time where there's a lot of other things getting more expensive too. Plex mentions that this increase will help them invest in new features for personal media, and they double down in the press release saying that we are absolutely committed to the future of Plex and personal media. And so they outlined some changes for upcoming additions to the product, including integrations with what looks like a really interesting option, honestly, called the Common Sense Media integration, which is great for parents, such as myself. I have a 4-year-old and she does love to browse Plex. So at the moment I have a dedicated library just for her, but if there's anything I can do to kind of share content between the adult library and the children's library, maybe this Common Sense Media integration will help with that. They're also going to be releasing a new dedicated server management app as well, whatever that looks like. I mean, we've already got Plex Dash, so I wonder what this new app's going to look like. More details presumably will be coming in the near future. And finally, they're going to add an open API for server integrations and custom metadata agents. So now I'm thinking maybe something like CoMeta, which used to be called Plex Meta Manager. Maybe that will be able to integrate with this new API instead of having just incomprehensible YAML files for configuration. And I don't know, be interesting to see what this new API opens up anyway. Now, the second major change really, I think, is the one that's probably going to get most people's backs up. And this is related to remote streaming changes. Currently, you can stream from your Plex server when away from home for free. But after April 29th, remote streaming will become a Plex Pass only paid feature. So if you have a file on a hard drive in your house that you own, that you're paying the electric bill for, and you're paying the internet connection bill for, you're going to have to pay Plex some money to enable remote streaming. Interesting idea, I suppose. Now, option one, if you're a Plex Pass subscriber already, you can already stream remotely from any server you have access to. Plus, if you're a server owner, which I imagine most Plex Pass people are, to be honest, everyone you share your server with can stream remotely without any additional fees. So that's nice. Like, as the lifetime subscriber, my friends and family will benefit from me having a Plex Pass and they don't have to spend any extra money. But this is a really interesting thing that Plex have done here. They've also introduced a new Remote Watch Pass. This is a cheaper subscription called Remote Watch, which is going to be $2 a month or $20 a year. This allows you to stream remotely from any server that you have access to, but doesn't include other Plex Pass features. So this would be useful for users who don't run their own servers but want to stream from friends or family members' servers, or server owners who just want remote access without other Plex Pass features to other people's servers. A really important note that the blog post makes kind of clear, but I just want to make absolutely clear, is that if you already have an active Plex Pass before these changes take effect, remote streaming will continue to work without interruption. Now, Plex are also making some changes to their mobile app, and there is some good news here. They're removing the one-time mobile activation fee that was previously required to stream for more than 1 minute on iOS and Android devices. I'm very glad to see this little nickel and dime fee go away, to be honest. But with the new mobile apps, local streaming will be completely free with no time limits. However, remote streaming will still require either a Plex Pass or the new Remote Watch Pass, as we detailed a moment ago. These mobile changes will take effect when the new mobile Plex experience officially launches. Whenever that is, we have no date for that. Privacy policy updates are also coming into effect as well, so they're changing their privacy policy and their terms of service. The key points that I found were for accounts created before March 20th, 2025, there are no immediate changes. Plex will also ask for consent to additional data uses at a later date, but they wanted to emphasize in a big call out, a big blue call out in the post saying they do not, have not, and will not share or sell information about your personal media library to third parties. Now, if you're concerned about privacy, Plex explicitly states that they do not collect this information about content or titles in your personal media library. But if you're genuinely worried about privacy, Plex is not the solution for you. It's got the cloud authentication option and you're sharing it with friends and family. You're reliant on the Plex service to authenticate. So despite this disclaimer in the press release, I would still advise users who are tinfoil hat aficionados, it's time to switch to Jellyfin. Now, with these price increases and feature changes, some of you might be looking at alternatives like Jellyfin, which has become one of the most popular free and open source alternatives to Plex. In fact, on the self-hosted podcast about 18 months ago, my co-host Chris Fisher and I did the Jellyfin January challenge where we switched to Jellyfin for the month, and I honestly expected it to be a failure. I can't tell you why, I just didn't expect the fit and finish and the polish to really be there. But let me tell you, if you haven't checked out Jellyfin in some time, now is a really good time. It includes all the major features that you get with Plex, but you don't have a cloud authentication layer to deal with. Now that's a downside when sharing with friends and family because you need to either open a port in your firewall or come up with some way to let them in through the front door of your firewall onto your network through some kind of maybe a VPS or some other option. I'll probably do a video about that in the near future. But with Jellyfin being free and open source, remote streaming is free at no cost. There will never be any subscription fees. I mean, you can throw the development team some bones if you want to, and I highly encourage that you do that. And Jellyfin also has clients available for most platforms. They're typically not quite as polished as the Plex clients, I will admit, but the trade-off between there being no data collection, no tracking, and no subscription fees, that's a trade-off that you're going to have to make in your own kind of risk profile for how to proceed after this Plex news. The main advantages of Jellyfin, as I see them, are that it's completely free, completely open source, and doesn't require any subscriptions. It's becoming increasingly user-friendly with regular updates from its community and has just been improving the whole time since that Jellyfin January challenge over on my podcast. So what should you do based on these changes? Well, if you're a heavy Plex user who regularly streams remotely, consider grabbing the lifetime Plex for $120 before April the 29th. The value proposition now is possibly better than ever with the upcoming price increases. Or if you're just occasionally streaming from someone else's server and don't need the advanced features, the Remote Watch Pass at $2 a month might be your best option. I mean, honestly, switch to Jellyfin if that's the case. If, though, you only use Plex at home on your local network, you can continue to use it for free and you will be unaffected by any of these changes. And in fact, you'll benefit from the fact that now you don't even need to pay the mobile app activation fee as well. If you're frustrated by these changes and have some technical know-how, I still strongly recommend giving Jellyfin a try to see if it will meet your needs. So a couple of choice quotes from the blog post I just wanted to pull out here. It's worth noting that if you're a lifetime subscriber already as a server admin, your friends and family won't notice any changes. And really that kind of nulls a lot of the anti-negative comments I think are going to come out about this. It's for the next generation of Plex people that I kind of feel a bit sorry for. The ones that haven't yet discovered Plex, that are about to, and they come to Plex in a year or two's time, and they, you know, people like me that bought 10 years ago, we're laughing because we've got this subscription ad infinitum, whereas the new folks are going to have to pay through the nose to get access to features that we just think are commodity features. Things like hardware transcoding is locked behind Plex Pass, even though it's really just using FFmpeg under the hood and could very easily just be a free feature. It's a tricky one because I understand that Plex have the need to balance development costs, which aren't cheap, developers are not cheap, with a business model and paying salaries and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And my one-time purchase of $75 10 years ago, it's not contributing to that bottom line. And I have no intention really of giving Plex any more of my money. Unless, of course, they make a change in a year or two's time, which does affect existing Plex lifetime users, which is something, you know, there's a comment in the Reddit thread talking about, oh, this doesn't affect me because I'm already grandfathered in. And the reply is, yet. And that really is what I want to underscore here. We've seen a slow nibbling from Plex of things like privacy in the terms of service, of just putting features behind the paywall. Who knows what they're going to do in a few years' time? For now, us lifetime grandfathered in people, we're good. But in a couple of years' time, who knows? So really, it's time to go and investigate the alternatives. If ever there was a piece of news about Plex that should make you go, okay, it's time, I think this might be it. So thank you very much for watching. Please get subscribed to the channel. I'm doing a whole bunch of videos right now about building home media servers and home labbing and all that kind of stuff. And you should possibly also listen to the self-hosted podcast at self-hosted.social, where me and my co-host Chris Fisher talk about Plex and Home Assistant and all sorts of self-hosting stuff to boot. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I've been Alex from KTZ Systems.